Have you ever seen people who have an anxious or an avoidant attachment style get in a relationship with someone who's safe and secure? Does that ever happen? Or is it typically you attract something you have a similarity to or something you're lacking in?
I think often you are attracting kind of particular dynamics, though if and when you meet a safe and secure individual, I think often what you'll feel, especially if you are more of the anxious type or the high emotions, you come from a chaotic, stressful childhood typically, you might start to see them as boring, right? There's no passion. Is there anything even here? Is it worth continuing? So I would not say it's that you don't attract them or you can't find your way into meeting a person. I don't think the relationship would be something that you would pursue or would be pursued for very long. And those are typically the languages and how it registers. Oh, there's no passion here.
Interesting.
Maybe we're just friends, friend zone this person. This is boring, or it's not what I'm looking for. And then on to the next.
So what are the different types of relationships? Interdependent, is that kind of like what might seem boring when there's like interdependence? Would that categorize that? Or?
I think maybe if you're in that more chaos cycle, the emotional addiction cycle, that likely could. Though I think the reality of it is maybe there is a little bit of a boring ground nature when you're living calm and grounded
peaceful and safe
peaceful,
and secure. There's no stress and chaos.
Yeah, I think to some extent, an absence of those highs and lows for a lot of us. I do think that even as I too am moving toward a much safe, secure partnership, I do think that we, on some level, that expansive part of our mind is always seeking more or bigger or what's next. So it's interesting to consider if there is intrinsically a kind of boringness and stability for all of us.
For me, it's like, what I think about is when I am on my purpose and I have a vision that I'm excited about, there's going to be challenges and ups and downs when I'm on my vision in my life. And my relationship, I want us to have fun. I want it to be like a safe, fun environment where we can connect about our lives independently and share our lives together. For me, that's exciting. That is like the highs of it, I guess. Not making the relationship the battlefield. Your life is like, okay, you got to go out and hunt or provide or create or make music or art. That's going to have its ups and downs. Let's make it your relationship healthy. Let's make it fun. Let's make it enjoyable. It doesn't have to be so heavy and dark and high at the same time. It's like, I don't know, that's where I find a lot of peace now, is creating and experiencing that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And what you're kind of highlighting in there is the kind of aspect of interdependence that honors the unique individual that has passion, has purpose, has those deeper things that I think we are absolutely driven. And I think, again, this is sometimes where we set up an expectation of relationships that it's somehow shared. I mean, a partner has all the same interest as me, or isn't interested in anything, or I don't know what my interests are yet. I think the more we create space for individual, exploration of unique passion and purpose and hobbies and all that comes along with that, and it might be outside of the relationship in some other, realm or some other relationship entirely where you go and pursue whatever your hobby is with other people. I think if we can expand that is still part of an absolutely healthy relationship, then I do think we create the space for that. Kind of each person being self-actualized, as Maslow put it, right? You've
had a number of different relationships in your life, from family dynamics to the relationship to yourself to intimate relationships. You had boyfriends in high school, you married a woman, and now you've been talking about this new relationship with, did you coin this word or someone else coined this?
I Googled it. I found it on Google.
And so you're in a new relationship that's extended from your current relationship, and a throuple, so there's 3 of you now. How has what you've learned been put to the test by adding to a current relationship and creating a new relationship?
Yeah, so as Lolly and I, my first relationship, my longest tenured one, her and I are currently married. We've been together for almost a decade, and from the beginning, as we both started to become aware of our past and how that was playing out in all of our past relationships, our shared vision of our relationship for the future was always one of honoring each other. and our self-expression and our wants and our needs, both having come from past where that was not the case in our homes and in the relationships we that pursued. So,
And did you guys have a codependent relationship to start and then it evolved, or how did it
yes,
start?
I was absolutely 100% codependent. She was too, but was more of the kind of anxious avoidant,
Okay.
where, right, that she liked some aspects of being close, and then there was too close, and then there was she would move far away, which would trigger
Make you
me,
anxious. You're like,
and
I
then
need
I would
you.
chase
Yeah.
after her.
Wow.
So it was this cycle or this kind of endless dance. And so as we both became very aware of our patterns and we're both committed very gratefully on the journey of, unpacking them, peeling back all of the onion, doing all of the nervous system work, we continued in our relationship until we crossed paths with Jenna. Jenna is someone that I connected with actually in the community. I remember her handle from the very early days interacting with the Instagram account. And when we decided to open up a membership, the day of the membership, we actually had a huge tech issue and ended up putting up a story letting members know essentially what was happening and that we would get back to their emails in a timely manner. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we're like, oh my gosh, we're freaking out. Long story short, within seconds of putting up that story, Jenna pings a DM over and acknowledges that she, has been seeing what we're doing and celebrating what we're doing, and in her own journey has been kind of working and wanting to create a similar community and was available to help if we were to need help in any way. So that at that point was a no-brainer. Not only did we need help, here was someone through my interactions with her, within the community, was feeling like she could be someone that was capable of doing that. Long story short, we jumped on a call. She integrated into the team and became very much an integral part of the circle and the business from the beginning. Flash forward in time, her and I we're living in Venice separately. I was with Lolly, of course she was there. And as time progressed, spending, outside of business hours together, we started to develop personal feelings for each other, though none of it was being spoken, of course, because I'm in a committed marriage. I had no idea that this even type of relationship had a name, was possible. I probably wouldn't even let myself even think about the possibility because it's just not something, right, that you do or that you
Right.
think about. Though meanwhile, we were starting to notice breakdowns in our communication in terms of our work relationship and moments of conflict and snarky remarks and just upset feelings. So in service actually of the business, we kind of had very direct conversations with each other. We're like, what is going on? Like, things were so collaborative and great. Like, this business is a number one priority. We need to talk about what's happening. And long story short, after Jenna did some, kind of connecting with her heart, she's always someone that's very driven to be very heart-led. She sat both of us down one particular morning and disclosed that from her perspective, one of the things that was creating her own internal conflict that was leaking out as agitation and nitpicking and all of this communication breakdown was that fact that she was realizing that she had feelings for both of us.
Wow.
And had obviously no idea how I was even, she's like, I have no idea how you're reacting to this right now when I'm telling you this. My commitment is to the business. This is what I want to be able to continue to move forward. I know this is a big part of what's getting in the way of me and what's coming up for me. I don't know what you're going to make of this, but I just wanted to have this conversation and to honor what it was that is on my heart. And she urged me to take some time, knowing that I typically need a minute to process things like that or things in general. And I took a minute, and Lolly and I had a conversation shortly thereafter, and were able to acknowledge that beneath the surface for both of us, there was developing feelings and interest. And so no jokes or jokes aside, we literally sat down online. Lolly loves to research things when she's unsure. So she's like pinged in Google, like, what 3-person relationship? Is this possible? And we discovered the word throuple, and saw very limited examples of it at that time, though since I think that there's been a ton more visibility around different types of relationships. So we embarked on it. We were curious. We followed that curiosity. So I think so much of that journey is really symbolizes all of the work in general, the work in the book of really connecting to what the truth in your heart is. Of course, for listeners, it might not be to expand or open a relationship up, but I think there's a million things that our heart tells us in any given day that we don't hear because we're distracted elsewhere, that we override. We're afraid maybe to tell our loved ones what is actually coming up for us. And I do think the byproduct is, discord and conflict and agitation, and more so a lack of that heart-based connection.